are we going to intro these? How should we do that? Do we want to go around and say our names? Or just welcome back Pot Coven, or?
Yeah. I mean, sticking with welcome back Pot Coven feels good. Like at least that bit.
Mm-hmm.
That feels right. That's us. No need to change that.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And are we also going to promo ourselves in the beginning of each episode or not?
I think okay. I want to.
Yes.
Let me express this.
Okay.
Does everyone know in the next 4 weeks what they're going to promo?
No.
Ish.
Yeah. I've got I could promo for the next 2-ish.
You know what? Instead of that, let's just say our Instagram handles at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah. Yeah, we can give a little spiel.
Yeah, like what we do or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
like a little bit more generic.
Yeah, just be like, hey, check out my shop, check out my page at the Celestial Rose. Or whatever. Yeah. Come buy my shit. Buy my shit. 'Cause I need money.
All right. I will intro you.
Okay.
And then you can intro Jess, and Jess will intro me.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds good.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's get this train rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Pot Coven. After a short break, we have returned to you with a special season 4 of Power of 3 podcast. This is our special Grimoire season. In each episode, we will be teaching you about different magical things. So if you don't already have a journal, have a grimoire to be writing these things down, you're going to want to get one of those. We're going to have stuff for you to interact, things for you to write down, eventually even some spells and rituals to be doing with us. So this is going to be a really fun season. We're really stoked on it. We are going to be starting off with elemental magic in these first few episodes. Before we dive into that, Ella, do you want to give a little shout out, let people know what you're doing?
Yes, hello. I'm your witch mama, Ella. You can find me over at the.celestial.rose on Instagram. I've got a little shop with links over there. I make herbal smoke cleanse wands with Maui grown herbs and flowers, or upcycled, recycled materials. Like I'm famous for my Christmas tree bundles. A little bit of Christmas in the middle of the year. But yeah, I got lots of good stuff. I do lots of magic, tarot card readings, all kinds of good shit. Got a Patreon. Yeah, check me out. How about you, Jess? What you got going on?
So you can find me at loving_incantations. I am currently going through another transformation. If you've been following me from the beginning, I coined the term transformation witch for a reason. I can help you work through your energy work. I can help you transform different aspects of your life depending on what you are looking for. I do a little bit of everything. I have an apothecary, and I am excited to work with you all. Big thing that I'm going to be launching this month is I'm going to start doing business readings.
Fun.
So if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, or just don't really know what direction you want to be moving in, we can ask the Oracle and get you moving.
I really like that.
I like that too. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys can find me at satin.saturn. Mainly this month, and by the time this has come out, yeah, well, it'll be just about to launch. My new course is called Basic Witch. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you might not be a basic witch, but maybe your friend is. But even still, it's always good to go back to the basics. It is an 8-week witchcraft course. First 3 weeks focusing on the foundations of proper research and discernment and intuition. The point of the course is to usher in an aligned, ethical, intelligent new age of witches. So really excited to be finally launching this course. It has been in the works for honestly the entire year, but that's a part of being an intuitive business, is that if it's just not right yet, you just keep pushing it back. But it's finally time. So I'm excited about that. But as always, I'm open for numerology, tarot, and astrology readings. So you can find my website on my Instagram to find out about all of that goodness. And today, Ella is going to teach us how she works with the elements. So grab your notebooks and start taking notes. I'm excited to learn all that this Mama Kitchen Witch has to share with us.
Yeah, okay. So we all have pretty different like magical styles and just like approaches to things. We all kind of just exist in the world just in slightly different ways. I'm very grounded, mundane, like daily life kind of person because I have like a full pack of children and animals, like a mini farm basically, and a bunch of plants. So everything I do is very like it's here happening on Earth right now because that's where I have to put my attention or everyone will go crazy. All right. So, since we're talking about element magic, I came up with a few different places where I'm most versed and most comfortable working with the elements. So we're going to break this up a little bit into nature, kitchen, and home. And I'm just going to talk about a couple ways that you can work with each element, give you a couple ideas. I say this every time I'm like working my booth at farmers markets and stuff, but everything I do is to help people and support them in what they're doing. Like I'm not here to lead anyone and tell them where to go. I'm here to hear you say, "Oh, I really like this." And then I'll be like, "Oh, here's a plant for you, or here's an oil for you, or here's a book for you." So that's kind of how this is going to be set up. I'm just going to give you a few ideas and let you just run with it. So, working in nature with the elements. One of the things I like to do with my family is we will go on hikes and we'll like collect little like leaves and twigs and flowers and whatever's kind of like already fallen. Usually we try not to like pick off of living trees and plants, but we'll gather like a little bouquet, and when we see a tree that's been struck by lightning or like a dead tree or something like that, we'll go and like leave a little offering to it, and that will really connect you to the earth element. Just kind of stand there, meditate a little bit, leave your offering. And you don't have to do this in a forest. You can literally do it like in a park, or like if there's a nice tree that lives on the side of your road, you can go and like give it a flower or an herb or something like that, a little natural item. But yeah, kind of, have you guys seen Spirited Away, the anime?
Not in so long.
Yeah, well, anyway, the premise of it is it's basically a bathhouse for nature spirits, and that's kind of how I think of everything in nature. I just imagine it with like its own little spirit, and like, it exists basically, it's cognizant. Maybe not in the way we are, but
right.
It has its own cognition.
Right. Well, that's why you don't want to take the branches and leaves from the trees, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we like to just, if there's stuff on the ground, you can pick it up. That's all fair game as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, try not to pick too many things. That really shows that you care about the earth when you don't. Another way that I like to show that I care for the earth, connect with the earth element, and you can do this with water, is be part of cleanups. So like beach cleanups, highway cleanups, forest cleanups, like if you're more inland, it'll connect you more to earth. If you're doing it, near the water, a lake, a pond, whatever, that'll connect you a little more to the water element. Sit still and meditate outdoors. I should have started with that one. That's number one, guys. Numero uno. Sit
And do it
outside.
barefoot.
Yeah, man, get as down to just your skin as you feel comfortable, and then just go like sit on some grass or by a nice tree. Sometimes I'll go exercise. I'll run around like my little track area, and I just will literally sit under a tree after. I'll just hang out there and just like, this is nice. This is where I want to spend my day, communing with trees. Right. If you want to connect with fire in the outdoor areas, you can set up a grill and cook your meal outside. You could do a bonfire. You could also help clean up and restore areas affected by fire. And that will also connect you to the fire element. All right, air. Mine is a little like kooky, so I don't know how applicable this will be to everybody. But I really love being an air sign. It's really fun to me. And so I like to connect with the air element by either riding on the back of like a motorcycle or like putting my window down when the car's going, something like that, where I can just like put my hand out and feel the air running against my skin. And I always imagine like a wind turbine, like the things that use make it wind energy, as just like, it's like charging up your air element. So if you ever feel lacking, that's one of my number one go-tos. I'm just like, yeah, get on the back of a bike.
Stick your head out the window like a dog. Or that one picture of Leonardo DiCaprio just with the eyes closed, just head out the window. He was just tapping into the air element. Don't worry about it.
Pure bliss, man. I love Leo. He's my crush, like from day one. Like little baby Ella fell in love, and it's just been over.
I mean,
that's it.
Yeah. He was
and he loves the earth. And I'm just like, fuck, I love you. You're making it hard not to love you. All right, so that's about all I have for working in nature. Like I said, just kind of feel what's appropriate to you. Think about your surrounding areas and just kind of see what small ways you can just connect. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to make an Instagram post every time you do anything, like just go outside and look at a dandelion popping up through the concrete and just consider like, holy shit, this dandelion is literally popping through concrete. Like that's some powerful shit right there.
Yeah.
So it's all magic if you let it be.
Well, yeah, it's about the intention behind it, because anyone can sit under a tree, but it's about sitting under the tree being like, there is a spirit in this tree and we are all connected and this is beautiful and I'm a part of the earth,
Yeah.
Taking it to that next level.
Yeah, one more thing I will say about connecting with nature, like in that way, like one time I went and sat under a tree, and like my attention was drawn specifically to this like battery that was like corroding near the base of the tree and kind of like probably poisoning it and shit. And like, I went to pick it up, and it was just recognizing that like if you sit still and listen, like nature will talk to you. Like you're not hearing words. Like the tree's not like, hey bro, there's some trash, could you help me out? But it's just like, you'll just recognize something and you'll be like, oh, here's a way I can help, or here's, a way that we can connect. So the biggest thing for connecting in nature is just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, especially for me.
Right. It's very hard for any Geminis out there, but if Ella can do it, so can you.
Right. But now the plants are fucked because I talk to them all the time. I'm like, I know you're listening. And they're like, shh. Stop talking, woman.
Oh, I talk to mine all the time. I just got house plants, but I'm literally out there all the time being like, oh my God, hello, my little babies.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my cat.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I do that to my bunnies.
They're my pet.
Yeah, my bunnies are little babies. All right, we're going to move into the kitchen. This is probably like my fucking ground zero. Like, this is my headquarters laboratory, I literally have rearranged my house so that my office is right next to my kitchen because I'm always in it. If someone's not asking for food, I'm fucking doing shit. All right, so a few ways to connect with the elements in your kitchen. The first one is going to be fire because, the kitchen and the hearth and all that is like the center of just everything you do. So, using your stove and your oven just in any way when you are cooking stuff, if you are, like Jasmine said, if you're using intention and you're thinking about how fire is alchemizing your raw broccoli into like delicious buttery goodness, like just considering like what's happening in the process of the science and the magic of fire and heat. Um, uh, Making soup to connect with the element of water. Um, I kind of went back and forth with this one because I was like, it could be almost any element depending on what herb you put into it, but I'm actually going to go over 4 herbs for each element in just a little bit. So for soup in general, it's very, I feel like it has a very water elemental ruled spirit because soup is not just for physical illness, it's also something that helps you when you're like emotionally distraught or when you're mentally having issues. They're always like, oh, chicken soup for the soul. And it's not just, that it gives you these nutrients and, it gives you, nutrition and energy and all that, but you're also like considering the person who making it is making it as well, like receiving that watery kind of like healing and like emotional fulfillment and stuff like that. So soup for the soul, y'all.
I'm over here laughing because literally all I've been wanting to eat is soup.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about it. I'm like, what is the message? What message am I
Yes.
receiving that all I want is soup? Specifically ramen, but like all the
Mm.
broth. Like
Yep.
I need something with so much broth right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I actually get that a lot, especially like when I'm on my PMS week. Like I will straight up like only eat fucking soup, and it's always just like the weirdest. Like one time I wanted chicken noodle soup, but then I like chopped up a bunch of green onions and I was like, okay, this is like perfect. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I want miso, and sometimes I'm like, I want beef stew, and it's just super random. But yeah, it's like kind of when you're like, I just need something to comfort me and make me feel better, and it's like soup. Soup and bread, man.
Lately, I have been referring to taking baths as making soup
I love that. I love that
and
so
like
much.
smoking a joint or cigarette in there and like ashing into the water and like just adding more seasoning for my soup.
Yes. I love that.
Just a little
Uh,
basil.
So I
Uh,
was taking a bath last night with the person that I'm seeing, and so we were making soup. And we were getting out, okay, well, let's go make dry soup. It was just cuddling. That was code word for cuddling. And I'm like, this is more like making a sandwich. And so the soup coagulated, made the bread. Now we have a sandwich.
I like it. It's a full meal. It's soul food.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. All right. Moving on to air. Um, Pretty much anyone can do this if you have like a window or like a little balcony. If you have a yard and a garden, cool, even better. You can grow lots of plants from kitchen scraps. So like carrots, you can cut the tops off of and regrow. Celery, you can cut the bottom off of. Onions, shit, like lots of shit, you guys. Lots and lots of fucking plants can be regrown from just like a couple little scraps. And it is fucking magical as shit. You go to the grocery store, you buy like one piece of basil, bam, your fucking whole yard is full of basil. It's crazy ass shit. Um, One thing I do in my own kitchen is I keep a fan in my kitchen. It's for 2 reasons. It's number one to symbolize air in my kitchen because that's one of the elements that's missing except my open window. Um, and number two is for utility. So like if it gets smoky, you can kind of like try to fan it out, or if something is like smoldering, you can kind of fan it. Or if you're making sushi rice, you can cool it off. So anyway, get yourself one of those little rattan fucking woven fans. They're great. But keep it far away from the fire because they will catch on fire.
Mm.
It's
Solid
it's
advice.
not when, it's if with fire hazards. Just remember that. Um Okay, I think I went over each one. Yes, I did. All right, let me give you 4 herbs for each element. These are not all edible herbs. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that because some of them, I was just having trouble finding common ones that were like, would make sense. So these are just herbs in general. You're welcome to do more research. You're welcome to join my Patreon, shameless plug. Go ask me a question, Anyway, all right. So for earth, we have cypress, fern, honeysuckle, and mugwort. Mugwort you can use like for ingesting, for sure. You need to be careful with it. It can be powerful.
Right. Isn't
And
mugwort,
mhm.
is that the one that makes you have weird dreams?
Yes,
Yeah.
mugwort will make you have some interesting dreams. Oh, I will also say don't use it if you're pregnant or breastfeeding.
Mm.
It is associated with like womb healing, but if you have a passenger on board, it is not great. So stay away from it if you're pregnant. All right, for the fire element, we have basil, cinnamon, ginger, and rosemary. All of those are edible and ingestible, pending allergy and sensitivity. All right, for air, we have clover, lavender, pine, and sage. And for water, we have coltsfoot, eucalyptus, jasmine, and rose. So the last 2 is kind of like half-half ingestibles. But anyway, just make sure you're doing research. Don't take an herb out of nowhere. If you're going to ingest an herb, I always recommend making a single brew of tea of it and like drinking it and seeing how it affects you, if it makes your stomach hurt or if it makes your brain fuzzy or, like if it just kind of makes you mellow or whatever, but that's one of the best ways to test for herbal sensitivities in yourself.
And how do you suggest people go about getting said herbs?
Okay, so most grocery stores in the produce section will have like sections of fresh herbs, just kind of tucked somewhere in like all the leaves and the sprouts and the roots and stuff like that. You're just gonna kind of have to dig. If you have farmers markets nearby, I can almost guarantee you they will have some kind of herb. Also, if you know any people who grow plants, most people will grow at least something basic like basil or mint or something like that. Oh, and the other thing too is you can go to nurseries. Nurseries will always have them. If you are on EBT food stamps, which I am currently and have been before, you can actually use your EBT card at places that accept it for food plants.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's a little tip there. If you go to Walmart, you can use your EBT and grab like a couple things from their plant section because they accept EBT and it's technically a food item. So, just a nice way of, helping yourself have the availability of fresh herbs and for cooking and all other purposes, all legal purposes. But yeah, so you can get plants in many, many ways. There's also places like Bulk Apothecary and, little online shops. I sell dried herbs. There's a lot of herb shops. There's many places to get it for sure. But if you want them fresh, ask your friends, ask your neighbors, hit your grocery store.
Definitely making a little tea with the different elements is a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
To just like, mundanely add them into your life.
Yes.
Very cool.
It is. It's really fun and it's basic. I mean, I'm busy with nothing on my plate. You know what I mean? Like where my life just in the daily is so busy that I've had to adapt my magic to be completely seamless and need almost no extra work or extra attention because I don't have it. It is not available. And so magic is just like, okay, I guess we're just like riding along with you. And I'm just like, yep, we're doing the thing. We're going the places. No stops. Yep.
I love it. We love mundane magic.
Yeah, life's hard enough, you guys. Life is fucking hard enough. You don't have to make all your rituals complicated. You can if you like doing that and that like brings you joy, like definitely, yeah, do all the things that you love. But if you're like sad because you feel like you're not magical enough or not witchy enough because you don't have time to sit down and do like a 2-hour ritual with like chanting and candles and like calling all the elements and opening the veil and like all this stuff, like don't feel bad. Just meet magic where you are. You know, if your place is in the garden or it's at work or it's, you know, I don't know, in a bookstore, you know, just meet yourself where you're at. Don't be so hard on yourself, babies.
Right. Well, and I think making magic a part of every aspect of our life is like the ultimate goal. So like even if big ceremony, you know, ceremonial magic is a part of what you do, like still having like mundane practices is like so important. So hella fucking valuable stuff coming from Ella as always. And of course you can check out her Patreon and her page for more of her.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done? Oh, okay. Ooh,
are we close?
We are close.
Sorry. Okay, hold on. I'll run through this then.
reverse.
All right, last section, connecting to the elements in your home. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because you guys can come up with a bunch of things in your own places. So, connecting with fire and air, burn candles or incense, or if you have like a fireplace, that kind of thing, you can pretty much wrap up almost any fire with both those elements. Taking intentional baths and showers, Jess kind of mentioned that earlier, to connect with the water element. Planting a garden or keeping house plants to connect with earth. And also keeping pets or like caring for your like house guests, like spiders or lizards or, you know, like whatever's living in your house that's not like harming anything, just kind of like caring for them and talking to them and just, you know, not squishing them basically. Another good way to connect with earth and show her you care. And now I'm done.
All right. Yeah. Go follow Ella on Instagram. Go sign up for her Patreon. Get all that good.
Please.
Follow us on Instagram as well at Power of 3 Podcast to keep up with everything that we're doing over there. We will be back with another episode. Jess will be leading us through how she works with the elements. We'll be going outside of the tangible world and going into the energetic realm, which is more of Jess's forte. So for all you energetic, transcendent witches out there, you're going to love the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Well, goodbye.
You were just in the energy field. You're in the astral realm. You weren't there.
Mute.
That was
Mute.
awesome.
Mute.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop recording this.